Welcome back. It is a Drive with Jack. We are here at Ryan's Roadhouse. Barry Sanders in the background over here. We got Dominic Oshik over here, up on the walls. And I am here with Lindsay Huddleston, Sports Psychology Solutions and a regular contributor to Press Pass on Sunday nights. And this Sunday, while I'm doing Press Pass with Tom Crawford and Rico Beard and a very special surprise guest, you are going to be over at Breslin Center watching Michigan State and Binghamton.
Yes, looking forward to it. I had a chance to see Coach Izzo last night at another event, and he brought up a very interesting point about connectivity versus chemistry. We'll talk about that another time, but I'm looking forward to them trying to bounce back after that big game at Madison Square Garden.
What do you think that meant psychologically? What does it mean to players that got their hopes up, number one versus number two, and then they get a disappointment?
I mean, a win would be great, but probably the best thing that happened is that it got the pressure off. Now we're done. Now we've got past this. We can shake that off, and we can look at moving forward. Probably the biggest hurdle for one player is going to be Rocket Watts and the scrutiny that he's come under, not being able to be successful. But my goodness, it's his first official collegiate game at Madison Square Garden against other future first-round draft picks. The fact that he even made it on the floor without puking in the middle of the MSG was a good thing, I think.
Well, he was outscored by another freshman, Tyrese Maxey, 26-0.
My goodness.
And Rocket had a rough debut, but he isn't the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I can take you back to Irvin Magic Johnson's first game against Central Michigan, and he was one of the worst players on the floor that night. Michigan State won because Jay Vincent came off the bench to score 25 points. Tremendous performance in a Spartan debut. And that's what lifted Judd Heathcote's Spartans past the Chippewas.
Wow, that's big. And I think Magic Johnson had a pretty decent career.
It turned out all right for the guy. He made a few bucks in basketball.
Right, it worked out.
Yeah. So what does Michigan State have to do psychologically now to recover?
I think
and move
this
on.
is universal. It goes to the same thing the football team. To get back to who you are, stay focused on that. I think we have to realize it's not making excuses for Michigan State basketball. They're in a time of transition. Josh Langford, who's going to be a significant part of the team, is out. Thomas Kithier, who was going to be, I think, one of the breakout players this season based on what he does, is important as well. But get back to basics. As you say, the kids aren't fat and sassy now. The coach has their attention.
Right.
You know, and all these preseason rankings, while they may sound good, you got to live up to it. So I think you're going to see a more disciplined team. That Binghamton game is going to reflect that, and it gives them a good way to kick off the season going forward.
I think back to Michigan State in 1979. Did not begin the season ranked number one and was not even a number one seed entering the NCAA tournament. Was a number two seed in the Mideast behind Notre Dame. But as soon as they became number one, you know what they did? They dropped back-to-back games. They lost at Illinois and lost at Purdue in the same week.
Is that the curse of number one?
Maybe. Yeah. And Michigan State has had this happen before. So, hey, when they were number two, they played number one Kentucky back in 2014. You think about this, Lindsay, Michigan State, when they've been number one before, hasn't worked out too well. So now, in a position that can really regroup, not as much pressure.
Well, at the end of the day, you want the number one not to be at the beginning of the season, but at the end of the season. And Tom Izzo, like any other coach in the country, has this thing, I'll play anyone, anywhere, and that's getting them ready. And I think he's going to be able to pull from things, look at the video, tell the guys, listen to what I'm saying if they weren't listening, and then that's going to help them going forward.
This is one of the differences between college basketball and college football. And one of the things that's so much better about basketball is you can play tough teams in November and December. And if you lose a game or two, it's what happened at the end. Do you make yourself a conference champion? Do you make yourself a dangerous team in the NCAA tournament? You start losing games in September in college football, you're out of the playoff.
Yeah, I think it also helps that someone like Tom Izzo has that cachet where it doesn't matter what happens with him right now. There's no discussion about him and his role being a coach there. He can do whatever he wants to do because it's all about him being his real name, is which Mr. March, you know, and being ready for the NCAA tournament.
You mentioned Thomas Kithier. Give me another player that you look for having major improvement in the next couple of weeks.
Gabe Brown. I think Gabe has made his transition. He's crossed over into that space where he knows It's up to him. I think he's not really worried about his role on the team, even though Tom Izzo wants you to play defense and have effort, and he's going to do that. But I think he's going to realize that his big body, his athleticism, his long-range shooting is going to be a benefit, and you're going to see that.
I think Michigan State would have beaten Kentucky and beaten them pretty easily with Joshua Langford. Fact is, they're not going to have Joshua Langford until at least January, maybe, who knows.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, Gabe Brown is going to have to step up, and he's not a freshman anymore.
Right.
He's going to have to be the player that he thinks he can be, that we saw in Moneyball.
Yes, that we
He's
saw
not
in
going to
Moneyball.
score 59 points again, but he's got to come out there and play like he belongs.
Yeah, but to see the ball go into the rim,
Yeah.
to the value of 59 points is a confidence booster. His new number change, as simple as it may seem to some, is big, talking about his growth, going to number 44, his dad's number. I just think there's a level of maturity there, and even though the focus was on Rocket taking on the role of Josh Langford, Gabe knows this is more of an opportunity. I can recall 2 Moneyballs ago that the first time we ever saw a player get ejected happened to be Josh Langford after he got tangled up with Gabe Brown. That was Gabe in his growing pains. He's gotten past that, he's gotten through that, and I think we're going to see the best outcome when he hits the floor.
The 3 freshmen, all scoreless in Madison Square Garden. Kentucky's freshmen look different. Obviously, Tyrese Maxey, a player that Tom Izzo had recruited, really wanted to have come in East Lansing. It wasn't going to happen. But some guys progress at different paces. Some guys handle the psychological part of Madison Square Garden differently.
Right. Well, when Coach Calipari gets on that jet plane and he goes into that living room, he's talking to a kid about becoming a professional athlete in a very short amount of time. And what we saw in Tyrese Maxey, having the confidence to shoot the same shot that he saw earlier in the game, if you notice that place on the floor, along with playing against a team that had interest in him, he didn't go. All those things come together for someone like him being able to have a great experience. And he's thinking, I'm going to be playing on this floor probably within the next year, compared to other players who are saying, I'm happy to be here.
The last time Michigan State played Binghamton, the only time Michigan State played Binghamton scored 33 points, not in a half, in the game. 33 points. And Michigan State rolled. Yeah, you win by 40. See if this will happen again, and if that will give guys confidence. We talk about the importance of that for Michigan State. Maybe that's what they need so they can go on the road, go to Newark, play Seton Hall in the Pirates' backyard and get a big win.
No, they want to get it done. I think Sunday we're going to see a very locked-in Michigan State team. We're going to see a team that's worthy of that #1 ranking because they know they got to get the work done, and they'll be at home, and they've had a little time to rest and recuperate. They can go for it now.
Looking forward to Sunday. We'll be on Press Pass before the Michigan game. You got Tom and Rico, and again, we've got that very special guest we hope we're going to have with us. Fingers crossed. Meanwhile, you're going to be out there. You'll be talking to players, and we'll do another Press Pass preview Sunday night. We'll do one Saturday after Michigan State, Illinois. Have a great weekend.
See you guys.